Go.
Then we have Bridget. She's number 5. I remember once she said, "Mom, don't get out of the car when you pick me up at school." This is grammar school. I said, "Why not?" She said, "Well, you got gray hair." I said, "I have gray hair." I said, "You know, all your friends, they're the first child of everybody. You're my 5th child. Of course I have gray hair. I've had 4 before you." All right. But then they both went to St. John Vianney, Bridget and Sheila. And God help me, they were cheerleaders. Oh, I'll tell you, they wanted to make that an Olympic sport. You have never seen people practice as much as they do. And they're really skilled athletes, but they never did make it. Well, of course, high school, you couldn't do all those awful, scary jumps that the professionals do. But they were so cute. "It's raining men," that was their song. Okay. And then Sheila, of course, was a cheerleader also. They were great. I was so proud of them for getting involved with things like that.
Where did you raise all the kids?
That was in Manalapan Township, New Jersey, where we moved. Wait a minute. November 23rd, I knew the date, 1963. Jim and I were in Brooklyn Dime Savings signing our mortgage. So we get out and we start walking. My mother was watching Mary Joan. So we were going to go to a movie. It was McClintock. We saw McClintock. The things I remember. And then they used to have newsstands around. So I walked up, there was a big crowd around all the newsstands, and I said, "What's going on?" I'm not sure. "What's happening?" And someone said, "Somebody shot the president." I said, "I don't think that's funny." That was my reaction. "That's not funny at all." So we were getting the move. I said to Jim, "I wonder if it's true." So I went. Then you had public phones. I could not get through on a public phone to call my mother, see if Mary Joan was. I couldn't get through. So I came back and we watched McClintock. I said, "I wonder if it's true. Someone shot President Kennedy." So we get in the car, and the first thing we hear on the news, the Pope has sent his solicitations to the Kennedy family on the death of the president. I said, "Oh, Jim, it's true." Anyway, we were moving the next day from Jamaica, where we lived for a year, to Manalapan Township. So, we're so bad. We pick Irish names whenever we see them. So we saw 3 guys with Irish names as movers. So we picked them. So, the 3 of them come in to help move us. And I don't know if it was our bottle or their bottle, but they had to have a shot for the president. Every time they come in to move a piece of furniture, they'd have a shot for the president. Yeah. And the last thing out was a TV set, and the first thing in was the TV set. So, I'm there for the weekend. And we find a church, we go to church, and we come back, and I turn it on, and as I turn it on, Oswald gets shot. That was live on television too, you know. So I was really mixed up in the history of all of this. Yeah. Anyway, they were raised in Manalapan, a nice little town.
I'm sorry. Continue. Tell us about your husband.
Oh, my husband, James McKeon. I met him at an over 21 club, monthly dance at a Lady Queen of Modest in Forest Hills. And I met 3 guys that night. I was popular. And I liked him, But the others kept asking me to dance too. But he had a grin, he had a smile, you could eat up. It was so good. And then I went out with the other two, and he didn't call, but it seems he was getting a car. He had to wait till he got the car, so he did. So before the next dance, which was every month, we were dating. And that was it. We were dating from then on. And he had just graduated from St. John's, 1960 we met. Just graduated from St. John's. He majored in philosophy. Who majors in philosophy? My husband. And he was thinking of going to law school. So we get an apartment in this Queens. And Briarwood it was called. It was a section of Jamaica. And he decides he's going to go to law school. It was a lot easier then. It was 1963. So, no, 62. And he took 4 tests. Oh no, he took an aptitude test for 4 schools. I know one was NYU, St. John's, Fordham, and one of the city schools, I don't remember which one. He scored so well, he could have gone to any one of them. But he picked Fordham. I got a shift. He picked Fordham because that was midtown, and he figured he could get on the subway and come home. That's why he picked Fordham. So he graduated from Fordham in 1966. Don't tell anybody, but he took the bar 3 times. Like John Kennedy. The first time he took it at Cole from the law school. And, it was New York. And he had to take the New Jersey bar. So we finally took the New Jersey bar. And he passed. So, but he couldn't open offices or anything because by that time we had Teresa, we had 3 children. So he did a lot of side stuff. I was his secretary. A lot of wills, some closings. I would always say, which are you going to be, the buyer or the seller? And he said, I'm the buyer. I said, oh good, because the seller needs more paperwork. And we did that for quite a while. I remember being in hard labor, typing a will because I had to get it done. I'm in the middle of labor pains typing a will. Okay.
Tell us about your...
Oh, so he was always very religious, always went to Mass. So this is when the diaconate program came in, so our pastor asked him if he'd like to be a deacon. He said, sure. So he became a deacon. He was deacon for over 30 years in the Trenton Diocese. And then so anyway, he had a bachelor's degree and a JD, which is a graduate degree for law. And then after he got out of school, stopped working, he went to a nearby Catholic college, Georgian Court, flaming liberals, and got his master's in theology. Well, I'm surprised he wasn't thrown out of the school because he had nuns and they were all so liberal. The Mass is not a sacrifice, the Mass is a dinner. He'd go crazy because he was raised in a strict Catholic. I mean, he went to Cathedral High School, which is usually the seminary, to go into the seminary, the major seminary, but he decided he liked girls, so he switched to St. John's. But he was, I said, Jim, they're going to throw you out of the school. He'd come home so mad. I said, pray for her. Pray for her because she has no idea what she's saying. Well, they let it go. They had a get-together at the end, and I went over to the nun. I said, he give you a hard time? She said, oh my God, I sweated him out. Yeah.
Tell us about your working career. Tell us about your career and what your schooling and.
My career. My career is like a dinosaur, a lost art. I was a secretary, and
For who?
Oh, the first job was for NW Air and Advertising Agency, and then I switched over to Young and Rubicam, which is even a bigger advertising agency. I worked there until, on account, I worked there till I was 6 months pregnant with Mary Joan. But you had to take a leave. You weren't guaranteed your job, and you certainly didn't get any money. So I remember Bernadette with one of her kids, and I said, well, at least you'll go back to getting a salary. I said, oh, I get my salary. I said, you get paid while you're on maternity leave? I couldn't believe that. Well, I didn't get paid. Okay, yeah. And then I had children. So by the time Sheila, I'm one of those people who works. So I was PTA stuff, and Jim was a volunteer fireman, so I was one of the wives who helped raise funds, give parties, etc. I was busy, you know, you can be busy without a job, you know. Then I started getting part-time jobs. My best job was the last one I had. I was a secretary in a law firm. No, I was receptionist in a law firm. I think there were something like 6 or 7 lawyers. And I never asked for a raise, but I kept getting raises. And I said, how come I don't ask for? Because everybody likes you, Joan. They're so glad when they get you on the phone because you're always polite and you know their voices, etc. So, but then Jim had retired, and they kept calling me. I couldn't stand it anymore. I said, I have to quit because he's driving me crazy. Where is this? When are you going to be home? Blah, blah, So that was my career. Not much.
Tell us about your grandchildren.
Bernadette had bought a house in Severn, and we were there for, the frame was down, and we went over and she says, that's when she told me, we're going to have a baby. There was more. I was so excited. And Jim didn't want to hear it. Jim, aren't you excited about having a grandchild? No, I don't want to hear it. I couldn't believe him. He was I don't know, maybe he thought instantly he'd be one of these old men breathing heavy trying to fix a toy. I said, no, I mean, it's not going to change you. But he didn't like it, dear. But someone asked you, how do you feel? I said, I've been waiting. So anyway, she was born. She was only a day old. And we went to see her in the bassinet. And there's this perfect, beautiful little person. Jessie last night, I said, it's like a closure. I mean, Jim and I and our children, and now we're starting to close the circle. That's the way I felt. And then we had 9 more. But
So who was the second one after Maura?
First 3 were Maura, Deirdre, and Kevin. Then the others started having them. Sheila's was Caitlin. Wait a minute. She was so beautiful. I mean, she still is. I tell everybody, she walks into a room and my heart stops because she's just so beautiful, Caitlin. And then they had Kyle. He's gorgeous. And then Cameron, who has many problems. And my cutie pie, I still call him that Caden, who just turned 16. Cameron was born with, what is it, encephalitis? I don't know what it's called, with the big head. So by the time they figured out what to do, we did a shunt to get rid of the liquid there. He was blinded. So I figure there was so much pressure on the brain all that time. And then he was diagnosed autistic. But he is the sweetest young man. I call Sheila. Hi, Grandma. Hello, Karen. Hi, Grandma. So cute. Oh, and then Bridget had Henry and James. I said, it sounds like...
Don't forget Erin.
I took English literature. Henry James was a famous author.
Don't forget Erin.
Who'd I... Oh! I forgot our baby girl, the beautiful Erin. She was so beautiful. Blonde, another blonde. Oh, and now she's absolutely gorgeous young lady. She's 20 like Kyle. They were both born in 2000. I will always know how old they are. I got everybody?
I think so.
I think so. They're all wonderful. I'm so proud of them. I love them so much. I say sometimes, you know, there's a lot of words in the English language, but sometimes there's no word for how you feel about something. There is no word for how I feel about my 5 children and how I feel about my grandchildren. It's beyond stupendous. You know, it's beyond love. I don't know how to explain it. It's just, I love them all so much. They've completed me. I remember saying, Gina and I wanted to be movie stars. So we were going to be discovered. You know, we took dance lessons, all that stuff. And I remember writing to Mary Joan once, I wanted to be rich and famous, which didn't happen. And then I said, I was hoping I could change the world. And I said, I didn't do it, but I have 10 wonderful people in my life who will do it for me. And they will. They'll change the world for me, for the better.
And don't forget your granddogs.
Forget my what?
Your granddogs. The dogs of your children.
I don't know what you're saying.
The dogs. Don't forget the granddogs.
And then my daughter Mary Joan and one of my favorite sons-in-laws, Joe, had their 3 beautiful little doggies. Oh, I don't think they know they're dogs. Beautiful little babies. And I love them. I've been with them for a couple of days. And I don't know what it is about my legs, but they love to lick my legs, and I'm always putting them up and covering them up. What's so inviting about my legs? They're cute, they're sweet. It's fun to be with them. They're all so beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Joan. Is there anything else you want to say? New York, Jersey, Baltimore?
I'm trying to, what would be my philosophy of life? To do good, be a reflection of my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, who is an example to everybody, who has been in my life for so long, and his most precious, precious, sweet, lovely, gorgeous mother, our Blessed Mary. I just want to have them in my life all the time. And I figure I'm just blessed that I have them. Thank you.
Thank you, Joan.